Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, with our main topic today. We're discussing today that the Cairo International Exhibition Center will host a mass of COVID-19 vaccination campaign. Health Minister Dr. Hala Zaid said that the government was preparing Cairo's International Exhibition Center in order to host the citizens who wanted to be vaccinated against the COVID-19 as part of the state's efforts to accelerate the process of administering the doses. This came in the cabinet's weekly meeting via video conference. Zayed said that 75 clinics are being prepared at the venue, which can accommodate 10,000 people daily. It is going to vaccinate or give the shot to 10,000 citizens every day and features a large waiting area to ensure the local or social distancing. The minister also added that 193 vaccination centers have been opened nationwide. To shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have this phone with Dr. Radwa, Raed Sharaf, pharmacist and the holder of PhD from Harvard University. Good morning, Dr. Sharaf.
Good morning.
Dr. Sharaf, I was just saying in the main topic today, that Dr. Hala Zaid said that the government have prepared the Cairo International Exhibition Center to host a vaccination campaign, and it's going to vaccinate 10,000 citizens, Egyptian citizens, every day. What's your comment?
I think it's wonderful. It's a great move to try to motivate more people to get vaccinated. The sooner we all get vaccinated, the better. And it's nice that now it'll be in a large hall. So just like you were saying earlier, people wouldn't be crowded in a small space. And it would be helpful to maintain social distancing while waiting for a vaccine. That being said, we need to remember that the government can't do everything. We have a responsibility as individuals. So we need to encourage ourselves and people in our immediate circles, whether it's our family, our coworkers, our classmates, to try and go and get vaccinated. 10,000 people a day is a great number. We need to get to that number. We need to reach that maximum so we can end this as quickly as possible.
Yes, Dr. Sharaf, how do you see this move by the government and its importance, and also the role played by the Ministry of Health?
Yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction. The road ahead is still pretty long, right? Egypt has 100 million people. So if each vaccine requires 2 doses, that means we have 200 million doses. So if you do the math, that's still a lot of work. Of course, we are advancing in the right direction, and getting vaccinated is really the only way to try to return to some form of new normal and end this pandemic, hopefully.
Yes, how do you evaluate the role that is played by the Ministry of Health from the start of the pandemic since last year, the 14th of February 2020 was the first case found, as I remember.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, the government does have a role and has been playing this role, in my opinion. So, for example, it needs to provide vaccines, right? Just like we were talking. But at the individual level, we need to get these vaccines. So we need to get them as soon as possible before some of these newer variants start circulating around. The government's role is to try to enforce lockdowns when needed, but then it's our individual responsibility to avoid large gatherings. Yes. Even if lockdowns are enforced, we can't and shouldn't gather indoors in local, like in houses. I know right now with Ramadan, a lot of people are gathering for iftars. So the government does play a role, but at the end of the day, if the individual doesn't do their part, then we need to team up on this. Just the government doing its role without us contributing is dangerous.
Yes, Dr. Sharaf, could you give us an idea about the prevention centers or the infection control?
Yeah, so infection control and prevention is the best way. It's better than even like than cure for right now. So we still are asking people to keep wearing masks and maintain physical distancing to try to keep at least about 2 meters away from anyone around you. And we know this works because right now the main method of transmission of SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, is through respiratory droplets. So when these droplets, when someone acquires these droplets, because someone else who was infected was talking unmasked or was coughing or was sneezing or was singing in front of other susceptible people. So in order to protect ourselves and protect the people around us, because we might be infected but have an asymptomatic infection, meaning we are not showing any symptoms. So in order to protect everyone around us, we need to keep wearing these masks. And I understand as young individuals, we might think that the chances of acquiring an infection or at least developing severe symptoms are low, but we need to remember that we might pass on the virus to someone who's older or to someone who has an underlying condition, and this person may not fare as well. So we all need to do our part right now and maintain physical distancing. I know it's been a while, more than a year now, but this is the best way for sure. Science backs this up.
Yes, Dr. Sharaf, how did you see the steps that were taken by the government to slow the speed of the COVID-19 during the year 2020 and as we started the year 2021 until now, we are in the month of May. How do you evaluate and see the steps that were taken by the government?
I see that many of the steps are in the right direction, but the road ahead is still quite long.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
there's
and
still
how
much
do you?
to do.
Yes. How do you? How did you see or evaluate spreading awareness concerning this pandemic?
Yeah, I think it's wonderful to try to reach the people on the street and get to educating them about how important it is to prevent the spread, to wear masks, to sanitize your hands, to avoid large gatherings. I do see posters and advertisements on TV and trying to get to this local people on the street, and I hope more is done in that direction.
Yes. Yes. Yes, Dr. Sharaf, now concerning the exhibition center, which would host a mass COVID-19 vaccination campaign, we knew that they are going to have 2 new vaccines. They received the Johnson vaccine and another Russian vaccine. So, and 2 months ago, Egypt received other names, AstraZeneca and other names of vaccines. Do you have any, give us an idea about these names? What is the difference? What is the difference between these vaccines?
Yeah. So I'll start first by saying, because I get asked this question a lot, which vaccine should you prefer? And the answer to this is the very first vaccine that's offered to you. So if I'm offered any one of these vaccines, I will get it. I wouldn't favor or have a preference for one over the other. These vaccines differ, of course, based on the manufacturing firm or facility that generates them, and they differ based on the technology that's used in the vaccination itself. So some of these vaccines employ a technology known as a viral vector. So essentially, they bring in a virus that is completely unrelated to SARS-CoV-2, and they introduce part of SARS-CoV-2's gene, a gene called the spike protein, into this viral vector. So essentially, the vaccine is serving as a decoy for our own immune system because we're delivering part of SARS-CoV-2's genome inside another vehicle or inside another virus. That's one technology. The other is using inactivated viruses, which is a tried and true method of vaccination that has been around for many, many years. where you take the virus that's causing the disease and you completely inactivate it using chemicals or heat. And this way, when you inject someone with this inactivated virus, the immune system is seeing parts of this virus's protein and generates an antibody response and a cell-mediated response against this virus. And so in both cases, whether you use the viral vector mechanism or you use an inactivated virus, in both cases, your immune system has seen parts of SARS-CoV-2's genome. And next time, if you do, God forbid, are introduced to someone who's infected or acquire or inhale droplets from an infected individual, you have enough immunity to either avoid rapid viral replication inside your body and thus avoid getting infected, or if you do happen to get infected, the viral load or the total amount of virus replicating in your body is lower, and chances of you developing severe symptoms or getting hospitalized or dying are almost zero.
Yes, Dr. Sharaf, if a citizen takes his first shot of the vaccine, of a certain kind of vaccine, his second shot should be from the same kind?
So for AstraZeneca, Sinopharm, and Sputnik, yes, because right now there are not enough clinical trials that have been done to show that it's possible to combine between different types of vaccines.
Yes.
It may be possible, we just don't have the evidence to back this up yet. So for right now, the clinical trials that have been done and have shown efficacy and protection, we're using the same exact shot, yes. For
Yes.
Johnson & Johnson, this is a single dose vaccine. So in that case, the question wouldn't apply.
Yes, Dr. Sharaf, does the citizen have the freedom to choose which kind of vaccine he wants to take?
No, and I think that's going
Okay.
down a slippery slope. My recommendation is to always get the vaccine that's given to you first, because if you have some protection now, it's better than waiting for a few months. This time period, you would not be protected, and you might get infected until the vaccine of choice that you want is available. So no, I would say take the vaccine that you're given
Yes.
as soon as possible.
Yes, yes. Okay. Dr. Sharaf, how can we adopt our daily life that the corona is there and we don't know when it's going to end?
Yeah, that's definitely an issue. I think over time, as more people start getting vaccinated and we start building up on this herd immunity, which experts seem to think is getting anywhere from 70 to 80% of individuals immune, which would stop the fast spread and sort of curb down the waves that we've been seeing of infection these past few weeks. So a vaccine will help us get to some kind of a new normal. I mean, I stress new normal because some things will change. Some people may want to continue to wear masks in large gatherings, even after the infection load and cases start dropping. There might be a yearly shot, just like we have with the flu vaccine, where every year people get a flu shot. There might be a yearly COVID shot where we're not sure how long our immunity will last for. I mean, some businesses may continue to allow employees to work from home.
Yes.
It does have benefits, but of course it comes with some disadvantages. So life will look a little bit different. I'm hopeful that we will be able to adjust to this new normal once many more of us are vaccinated. But I think there's hope at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, yes. Dr. Sharaf, my last question. Egypt, since 1924, used to provide citizens or the young children with the TB vaccines or tuberculosis vaccines. Do you think that all the citizens, but in Europe or in the States, or they don't have to take these vaccines or give it to vaccinate the young children. Do you think that because Egypt is providing children with this vaccine since the year 1924, it reduced or didn't increase the cases in Egypt?
That's a great question, and I think at the very beginning of the pandemic, people were wondering that as well. So the TB vaccine is called the BCG vaccine, and it's being administered in Egypt and in many countries, including India. And at the very beginning of the pandemic in Australia, they conducted a clinical trial and tested whether giving the BCG vaccine, so the vaccine against TB,
Yes.
to clinicians, whether that would help curb or prevent their infection with SARS-CoV-2, the causative agent of COVID-19. And the results haven't really been conclusive. It doesn't seem like people with who have previously administered the BCG vaccine are protected against SARS-CoV-2. And like we see right now, the infection cases, the cases in India are rising rapidly, a country that does provide BCG to many of its citizens. So I doubt that there is a connection. Also, BCG is a vaccine against a bacteria, Mycobacterium tuberculosis. That's the name of the bacteria that causes TB. Whereas COVID-19 is caused by a virus that's very different, has distinct genome. So I don't see any cross-reaction personally, no.
Yes, I thank you very much for your time and for your valuable information, Dr. Radwa Sharaf, pharmacist and the holder of PhD from Harvard University. Thank you very much for joining us. Please, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more coming up in the Breakfast Show.